Hey everybody, welcome to Culinary Characters Unlocked. I'm David Page. On this episode, a chef who ran one of Daniel Boulud's kitchens in New York, now building a growing restaurant group of his own in Houston, with his latest edition making it to a prestigious national best-of list. Here's Aaron Bludorn. Chef, how are you? Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Things are going quite well for you lately, it seems. 2025 Best New Restaurant of the Year. You were one of those, according to Bon Appetit.
Yeah, that was a huge honor for us at Perseid. We were very excited about it.
It's your latest restaurant. How do you say it? Perseid?
Perseid. Yes, it's named after the August meteor shower.
You were building a little restaurant empire in Houston. How many places do you have now?
So Perseid was our fourth restaurant. It's been a gradual development over the last 5 years, and we've been just having a lot of fun and getting great opportunities and growing in areas that we see we have a lot of opportunity in.
3 of those 4 are now Michelin recommended. That's quite an accomplishment.
Oh, thank you. We're thrilled to have been given that honor, and it just speaks to all the hard work our team does each and every day, and we're thrilled to keep on being able to do what we do.
Feel some pressure to remain in the guide?
Always. But that's nothing new to me. I held the star for Danielle at Café Boulud for 5 years, and that was even more pressure. And now I feel like the pressure is more so to continue to knock down barriers that any of our teams might have, and how do you set people up, our team members up for success as much as possible.
Well, perhaps the greatest pressure you face, I'm guessing here, might come from your wife's family. You want to explain that?
Oh, yeah. My wife's family is a very prominent restaurant family here in Texas.
It's the Pappas family, and they got like 100 restaurants, right?
Yeah. No, they have over 100 restaurants. They're very prolific, but look, there's a lot to learn from them. I would say that, yeah, there's pressure, but it's the good kind of pressure. It's the kind of pressure that helps you be better each and every day.
Well, your wife's from Houston, obviously. I read that before you decided to move there, you'd never been there. So was this just the love of your life saying, hey, honey, let's go where I'm from?
That might have been a little bit hyperbole. I mean, we traveled a few times while we were dating. Before I met her, yes, I had never been to Houston before. That is correct. But I did go to a certain degree, very sight unseen, and just jumped in.
Well, what kind of restaurant town is it?
I think it's an incredible restaurant town. And it's because of the people that live here. The Houstonians are incredibly adventurous diners. They're used to a diverse restaurant scene, a lot of Asian food, incredible Mexican cuisine, and even South American. There's all the way, like Indian cuisine is extremely well represented here too. It's all here, and it's really great to be a part of. It's really expressive of how diverse Houston is, but also how diverse Texas is. I never had an appreciation for that before I moved down here.
Okay, so we've established you're a carpetbagger in Houston.
Yeah, no doubt.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Seattle, Washington. Well, right outside of Seattle, a little island, Bainbridge Island. So if you take the ferry from downtown Seattle, you get to Bainbridge Island.
When I was doing diners, drive-ins, and dives, I think we did a diner on Bainbridge Island.
Was it the Streamliner Diner?
It might have been. Is that where you worked as a kid?
Yes, that was my first restaurant job at the age of 16 years old, so...
Was food a big part of your family? Were you in the kitchen with mom or no?
Not really. It was literally my first dishwashing job that sort of sparked my interest.
In high school or something?
Yeah, in high school. After class let out, I'd go wash dishes and prep cook. And then on the weekends, I'd work the morning shift. So get there at 6 a.m. and wash dishes for the rush with all the tourists coming in from the ferry. And I loved it. It was hard work, but it was very team-oriented, and we just had fun with it.
Well, when did you realize I could do this for a living?
It was then. And then when I went away to college, I went to Humboldt State.
Where's Humboldt State?
Northwestern California, in the Redwoods.
What were you studying?
I was studying music theory.
As most chefs do.
Yeah, right? But it didn't last long. I found myself in a kitchen and found myself actually running this kitchen at the age of 19 years old.
What kind of restaurant?
A little vegetarian restaurant. But also did breakfast, lunch, and dinner in a college town. I mean, you can just imagine. The name was Wildflower Café. And I started working there and loved it. Worked there for 3 years. Dropped out of college, worked there.
You dropped out of college?
Yeah.
You did go back to school, right?
I did. I ended up deciding that this was something that I wanted to study, the culinary arts and hospitality industry. And I realized then that I wanted to one day own my own restaurant, and I needed to gather the experience and knowledge to do so. And I think going to the CIA was my dream.
Culinary Institute of America.
Culinary Institute of America, sorry, not
the other one, yeah.
Yeah, not the other one. And actually, I was reading Kitchen Confidential, and I know that's very cliche for my generation.
Anthony Bourdain's book, yeah.
Anthony Bourdain's book, yes, absolutely. That had me really inspired and made the push to the CIA.
Okay, and what inspired you from the book? Certainly not his heroin addiction.
Yeah, probably not that. Just the excitement of being a chef and the long hours, but I could relate to that because I had been doing that. And I felt that drive, that adrenaline towards working service and having passion for ingredients and being excited about what a team sport working in a kitchen was and getting to do it night in and night out and just being passionate about honing your craft. And that made me very excited. I guess I went from studying music theory, wanting to be a rock star, and realizing that I was probably a lot better suited to be a chef.
Some of the same public adulation these days.
Yeah.
I talk to people who went to CIA, and so many of them tell me, well, I wanted to go to New York after school, or I wanted to go to Chicago or San Francisco. You came home to Seattle. Why'd you do that?
I wanted to get my feet underneath me. It was also, I probably had some financial reasons around it. And I had a great job working at Canlis.
I've had Mark Canlis on the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Canlis is certainly the grande dame of and probably the leading fine dining restaurant in Seattle and has been for 60 years or more.
Yeah.
Just out of culinary school, this was the next step in your education?
I just started my education is what I like to say. And I didn't stay for long. I just sort of got my feet underneath me, started to figure out where I wanted to go. And I took a road trip down to California, to Sonoma County and San Francisco. So I was really drawn towards the culinary scene down there. I thought I wanted to work for maybe Michael Mina, maybe French Laundry.
Some joint.
Yeah, I wanted to go find the best restaurant on the West Coast. And I found it, but in a very unlikely place in Healdsburg, Sonoma. I mean, I guess it's pretty likely now, but back then there was no one really doing anything in Sonoma County. And Healdsburg is a town in Sonoma County. It's the sister wine region of Napa.
Where'd you work there?
I took a job at Cyrus Restaurant working under Douglas Keene, who was the chef owner. And it was just an amazing experience. I was there for 3 years, started at the bottom as a commis, got that experience, got to be a part of the team that got 4 stars from the Chronicle, 2 Michelin stars, just an amazing experience working for a young, passionate chef that was just grinding day in and day out.
What lessons did you take with you from that experience?
Everything I hold true today as far as working in a fine dining restaurant, I got my foundation for there. And it gave me a really great opportunity to continue to build on that.
We'll be right back. And your next job was with one of the most celebrated chefs in history, Daniel Boulud.
Absolutely. When it was my time to leave, I'd done everything I could there. Doug was very clear. He's like, look, you can stay, but I think you would be doing a huge disservice to your career and you need to keep pushing forward to the next step. And that next step, he was very adamant that I needed to go work in New York City. I internalized it and then I got really excited about it. I got excited for the next step. I mean, it was amazing living there in California. I had just such an extreme passion for the region, but I knew I needed to do something else, right? I needed more experience. So we got out a Michelin guide and we started looking at all the different opportunities of where to work in New York. I remember Doug saying, you should really look at Daniel because he's a real chef. He is a real chef. He's there. He's also a businessman. He runs his restaurants extremely well. Anyway, so I moved out to New York with just my my luggage.
And your knife roll, I assume.
And my knife roll. Yeah, exactly.
Well, did you have the gig before you moved?
No. I did not. I just went there and I had a trail set up. So no job, but
a stage. You were going to work for free.
Yeah.
So how long did you do that?
About 2 weeks, and then I was offered a position at Café Boulud with Gavin Kaysen, who was the chef at the time.
As a line cook?
Yeah, working on the soup station. It's not like you arrive and you're a sous chef all of a sudden. You got to work your way up again. Every kitchen, you're working your way up.
You had already been at a great restaurant. Now you're at perhaps a more famous great restaurant. What could you add to what you knew?
I think I added a lot. I learned a lot more French technique, French cuisine, traditional terminology, recipes, using the little Le Repertoire book all the time to sort of understand what was going on around me with the cuisine.
I read you gave an interview where you said it's the same attention to detail as at Cyrus, but like twice as many covers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. It was intense. Exact same level of detail, but it was Upper East Side, extremely busy restaurant. Every night in, night out, you were just getting pushing your limits, and I loved that.
What was your best dish?
Oh, gosh. My best dish. Daniel was known for this potage lyonnais, right? This soup that he would do with a pumpkin soup, and he was actually on Parts Unknown, I believe, with his dad, baking this dish in a pumpkin where he layers it with Gruyere and everything else, and the huge pumpkin, right? And then they put it in the oven, bakes forever. At the time, this was a dish that Daniel was very much recognized for. I thought it would be really cool if we found a way to do it individually for our guests and create that same experience. I worked with Chef and had some ideas and presented it to him, and I wanted to find these mini pumpkins, and which I did at the farmer's market, that can be individual, and we took the pumpkins and we baked them all just enough, but to still be a soup bowl, and we made this soup inside the pumpkin. We would do the soup in front of the guests with the same flavor profile, same ingredients, but just a little bit more refined than, a big old pumpkin, pouring this potage lyonnais like his dad did on the show. I thought it was so great that I could, because I was a steward of his cuisine working there. To create a dish was something that was very iconic around him and his history and where he was from, and being able to work with him on that was, I would say, the pinnacle of working there and the opportunities that I got working alongside Chef.
You say steward of his cuisine, and in just a bit, when we talk about opening your own restaurants, that's where you get to be a steward of your own cuisine.
Yeah, exactly.
You met your wife working there?
I did.
Was she on the staff?
She worked in the main office. In fact, her HR director set us up.
But the HR director didn't make you sign something about dating within the company?
No, we were all right. I mean, it was different. It was the corporate office, right?
Now, you worked your way up from line cook to what?
From line cook to head chef.
Executive chef.
Executive chef. After I'd been there for 5 years, I took over on my birthday, on my 30th birthday in 2014.
You're an executive chef for Daniel Boulud at the age of 30.
Yeah.
It's damn impressive.
I pinched myself quite a bit. Is this real?
Why'd you leave?
My wife and I wanted to start a family. New York is a very challenging space to start a family. And we also wanted to put down roots. And we knew that we weren't going to be in New York forever. And we were anxious. We had gotten married, a year before we left. And we were anxious to start our lives. And we wanted to do it in a place, and like you said, my wife comes from a very celebrated restaurant family down here. And she has a large Greek family.
Well, I don't want to make stereotypical assumptions, but there is a perception, well, my big fat Greek wedding, that Greek families are A, large, B, love food, and C, get together all the time. Is that her family?
That's definitely her family. Absolutely. My big fat Greek wedding was my wedding. Baptism and all.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And that's what we wanted for our kids, that sense of community. Not to say that I didn't have it on Bainbridge Island, but much smaller family. And also getting to know Houston and getting to know the culinary scene here, I was really excited about the opportunities that it afforded. And I couldn't have been more right.
So did you go straight to your own restaurant, or did you work someplace else?
No, I was actually taking trips on my one day off. I would fly down to Houston, meet with investors, tour spaces, get everything together in my last year at Café Boulud. I was kind of like working on that simultaneously.
You had a name, and as you said earlier, you held a Michelin star for 5 years at Café Boulud. So presumably you were well received by investors?
Yeah, absolutely. We put the whole deal together and finished everything and closed in December of 2019. And then I signed the lease right afterwards and then started working. We did all the demolition in February of 2020 and March happened. And we had the global pandemic.
Ouch.
Yeah. Oh, well, at first it was terrifying. What are we going to do? I definitely had investors calling me. You sure we're going through with this?
Back in a moment. Did you open on schedule during the pandemic?
We did.
Now, I've had some chefs tell me that actually, in retrospect, it was a good thing because it let them kind of have an extended soft opening. Was that your experience?
Yes. I would say that it was probably the perfect time to open. I was the only new restaurant during that time. We got to sort of pick the right time during it. We got to see where all the trends were headed and how people were navigating this new normal, as it was called back then, I remember. And we got to make some changes and really position ourselves in a great place.
Okay, first of all, the name of the restaurant.
Bludorn.
Nice and simple.
Nice and simple. Last name, let's do it.
What's the promise it makes diners? What's the ethos of the place? What did you open to be? And are you still that?
Yeah, absolutely. We open with the idea that luxury is the idea of having whatever you want whenever you want it. Your experience at Bludorn is exactly what you want at that time.
In what way? I can't come in and order something you don't have on the menu.
You can't do that. No, not necessarily, but we're happy to do any of our proteins as simply as you'd like them prepared. That's for sure. But also the idea that you can sit at Bludorn and have a burger and really nice glass of red wine, or you can sit at the bar and order caviar and champagne or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I'll do that one.
Yeah, right. No doubt. Bludorn is sort of the Swiss Army knife of a restaurant. Our menu suggests to enjoy our dishes in the way that we prepare them, but also there's a lot of flexibility. It's a fun restaurant. There's a little bit of hedonism mixed into the way you might order, and we have a lot of dishes that are, I just think, indulgent.
Like what? What's indulgent?
Well, I'd say we do a whole duck. We do this whole dry-aged duck that's glazed in cane syrup and then served with duck confit and foie gras jus, and there's duck liver mousse on the plate so you can make your own dirty rice.
Ooh.
It's awesome.
I see beef Wellington. You don't see that on a lot of menus.
We do that during the holidays. There's a lot of demand for it. We start on the day after Thanksgiving and we go all the way through New Year's. This year, we did it on Valentine's Day because of that demand. But then we shelve it, and that kind of creates some excitement around it.
Well, I'm looking, there's a couple of dishes here that seem kind of plebeian, but you elevate them. Pierogi with rabbit confit?
Oh, yeah. You know, the Texas Hill Country has this really great convergence of Czech and German cuisine.
Well, that's what gave us barbecue. Texas barbecue.
Exactly, Texas barbecue. But also, you know, there's a lot of Mexican cuisine there. Our chef is from Mexican descent at Bludorn today. And her and I worked on this dish. She has this amazing salsa macha that she does.
What's a salsa macha?
It's an oil-based chili sauce with sesame, and it's super good. So it's like that deep red chilies and oil and everything. Anyway, so we put that over the salsa macha and we serve it on top of a cultured butter sauce. It's super delicious.
I think I know food, but I'm asking dumb questions. What's cultured butter?
So cultured butter is a butter that's allowed to sit and ferment a little bit and sort of create a little bit more flavor.
I see you're doing a cioppino, which initially was a San Francisco seafood stew, but you're doing it with Gulf ingredients.
Yep.
How much do you rely on local and seasonal product?
As much as we can. Gulf cioppino is great. My mom is from San Francisco, right?
Oh.
I grew up with cioppino. It was a very staple dish. Coming down here and knowing that all that seafood is available, I saw a great opportunity for us to create a dish around that. A dish that I'm very familiar with and using whatever makes sense, from the Gulf crab to a snapper, grouper, so on.
And the next restaurant you opened was pretty much all seafood, right?
Yeah.
Navy blue?
Yeah.
What's the signature there? How do I know I'm at Navy blue?
Oh, we have the same oyster selection that we do at Bludorn, so we do oysters every way. But also, we're constantly bringing in different catches and creating certain dishes around it. We have a delicious seafood gumbo. It's, again, all Gulf seafood. We make the base with crab, Gulf blue crabs. It's super delicious. I would say also our seafood tower is something we're known for. Not only do we have raw seafood and chilled seafood on that tower, but we'll also do a tower with all baked and fried and like clams casino, grilled oyster, things like that.
Gulf oysters, some people will tell you they're better grilled or barbecued than raw. And I will say, as a Northeasterner, I have snobbishly said oysters from where I am are better than Gulf oysters because I think the water's too warm down there or something. But I'm being told that's no longer true.
Well, there's a huge, I'd say, revolution of oyster farmers down here using similar techniques you see in the Northeast. So the Gulf oysters we're all referring to, or we know for years, were just the wild ones that they would, they'd seed on the ocean floor and then pick up when the tide went out, and that was that. And they were big knobby things. And yeah, those are great oysters to use but there was no manicure. They were almost considered wild oysters, wild farm. And there's been a big push over the last 2 decades for oyster farmers to adopt those same techniques that they're using in the Northeast. But they're all whether it's the big crazy old Gulf oysters, it's all the same species of oyster on the East Coast. It just depends on how those oysters are maintained. And so you see a lot of these new farmers doing similar techniques and getting a similar cup size and shape, and in some cases, same and flavor that you do on the East Coast. You're right, like something has to do with the cold water, but I've had some Gulf oysters that compare just to East Coast oysters. The other thing is down here, when we're getting oysters from the Gulf, they're out of the water less time and they're much fresher, in my opinion, and they maintain their texture better. Whereas if you're getting an East Coast oyster that's been out of the water for X amount of days and then on a plane and blah, 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 you got a little bit more time on it. So it's not going to have that same characteristics that you do with these. I'd say Murder Point is a great example of someone, this guy Lane Zerlot was one of the first to do it. And we serve Murder Points at all of our restaurants. So pretty cool.
Okay, let's move on to Bar Bludorn.
Yeah.
And how does that distinguish itself? You keep opening places.
It's a neighborhood tavern. We saw this opportunity to open a restaurant, and it's not quite a suburb, but it's just a little bit outside of the loop of Houston. It's this upscale tavern that is just made for the neighborhood. It's meant to be a quintessential neighborhood restaurant. We have staples on the menu like fried chicken. We do these country ham beignets.
You're making beignets.
Yeah, of course. We do all of our, and in fact, at that restaurant, we do all of our own bread in-house. We make the dough, we rise them, and we fry them, and then we stuff them with whole grain mustard and ricotta filling, and then put a sliced country ham on top.
That's nice. And your latest venture, I'm not going to mess it up. Perseid?
That's correct. Yeah.
This is the one that made the best new restaurants list. I'm reading, Aaron Bludorn has harnessed Houston's culinary specificity to create a menu you won't find at another hotel in America. You've got what? It says Creole and Vietnamese influences. What are you doing here?
So it's taking the diversity of Houston and putting it through a French lens is what I would say. So it's like I call it a bistro through the eyes of Houston. And the reason being is there's a gallery right across the street, or actually a museum across the street. It's called a gallery, but it's a museum, the Manil collection. And it was this French family that lived in Houston and made their money in oil and gas and had a large wealth, but took a lot of that and put it into this art collection. And this family is very well known to have been supporting the arts for years and creating this amazing museum right across the street from the hotel. I drew upon them for some inspiration. Here's this family that had traveled the world and brought everything back to Houston, whereas we're going to create a restaurant where I think also the fact that I have never really done an overt French restaurant was something that kind of got me going. We wanted to create a restaurant here that really played to that experience that I've had working for Danielle and working at Café Boulud, and we wanted to pay homage to the amazing diversity of Houston and then also call out where does Vietnamese cuisine intersect with Cajun cuisine. Both cuisines are all rooted in French cuisine, and let's explore that.
Well, explore it for me. Tell me about some dishes that show that.
Absolutely. We do a traditional seafood sausage, but instead of using, scallops and lobster and everything else, I use crawfish, right?
You got to pick an awful lot of crawfish to fill a sausage.
Well, you can actually get Louisiana crawfish pre-picked.
Oh, okay.
It's a delicious product. Anyway, so we make the base with shrimp, with Gulf shrimp, and then we mix in crawfish into it. We serve that with sauce Creole, and it's a very great example of this. We have a bronzino dish right now that is a take on a bouillabaisse, but with Cajun flavors. The burger on the menu has a duck liver mousse on it, and then pickled daikon and carrots. So it kind of has some of the flavors of a banh mi.
How else are you working Vietnamese flavors in?
It just depends. Our menu changes seasonally, so we'll work different things in. And I think exploring Viet Cajun is one of the things that makes the Gulf Coast so great. From New Orleans to Houston, there's definitely different iterations of that. I mean, we did this dish it's a blackened grouper, so it has the blackening spice, very well known in Gulf Coast cuisine. But then I served it with tamarind and a Vietnamese herb salad with it. And I think that was a great example as well of sort of blending those flavors. The flavors work so well together.
Is it tough to get folks to come to a restaurant that's at a hotel?
You know what? Not really, because it's such a beautiful hotel. It's such a beautiful space, and it's very relaxing. And there's a lot, you can enjoy the lounge area. You can sit outside. It was really designed in a beautiful way to enjoy sort of this urban oasis.
You're a restaurant group owner. Do you miss cooking?
Yeah, I do, but I really enjoy working with young chefs and working alongside them to foster their creativity and also bring out mine. I think that was always done for me over my career. And I use all of the expertise that I've gained through all the years of experience that I've had to really to excite these chefs and to direct our restaurants in the right direction.
Is it tough to get motivated young chefs these days?
No, I mean, yeah, I paused there for a little bit because I was thinking like,
Well, people tell me the industry's in trouble, fine dining might be dead, there are economic problems.
I feel like they've been saying that for a little while. And yeah, there's issues that need to be dealt with. But I think there's still motivated individuals that want to be a part of this and want to be excited about it. I think there's a lot to be excited about. It's a career. I think for so long, it was just seen as a stepping stone, whereas now it's a career for so many. And to make it more, I think people are attracted to work with groups like ours because we are professional. And when you come work for us, this is part of your career and you're treated respectfully. And I think a lot of young chefs are looking towards that as opposed to something that's maybe more resembles a pirate ship of years past.
Well, do you think kitchen culture has truly gotten better?
Oh, without a doubt. It can't not. I mean, it was tough there for a little while, but no, we've gotten a lot better for sure.
What about the state of the industry? As we discussed a second ago, there's all sorts of doom and gloom being bandied about. And the reality is, if you look at surveys, Americans are eating out less for financial reasons. How healthy or unhealthy is the restaurant business?
You know, we always go through ebbs and flows. It's cyclical. We were dealing with the same thing during the global financial crisis, and I remember working through that. And I think you see these things, they ebb and they flow. And I think what we saw during COVID was that people can't stay away from restaurants for too long. It's part of who we are as humans. We want to go out. We want to be a part of something together. And dinner is a great opportunity for that. And I think that restaurants, they're going to take new forms and we're going to have to figure some stuff out.
What new forms? What's coming down the pike?
Oh, I don't know. I think we have to reimagine the economics of a restaurant. But look, Europe has, if you look at dining in Europe, there's smaller, because labor is much more expensive there. They've had to rethink their models of restaurants, and restaurants are smaller, and maybe the chef is there behind the stove every night with one other person. That's how they've done it. I don't know how we're going to do it here. I think you see evolution just favors those that are successful, right? And I think that the more successful models we find, the more we'll sort of gravitate towards those and move forward. I think it's fine. I think it's very normal for us to question where we are as an industry, but I think overall, I see great things every day. I see people doing amazing food and yeah.
Your wife's in the business with you, right?
Yeah.
Restauranting is time intensive. How many kids do you have?
We have 3.
How do you juggle it?
You have good team members. And you set up time that's non-negotiable to be with your family. And of course, there's always things that pull you away, but you're understanding. My wife is extremely understanding when I need to, because she comes from that background. So that helps. But I think you just have to work with really great people and give them their time and be honest about it.
What's the next great dish that one of your executive chefs is about to put on the menu?
Oh, man. I would say a dish that's true to them as a chef. And, I've given them the opportunity to create that dish. Who knows?
Okay, let me back it up a little. What hit one of your menus recently and you looked up and said, wow? And this will piss off the other 3 chefs, but...
Yeah. So Jeff Lynn, the chef at Navy Blue, I'd been pushing him to do something like this for a little while, but he put on a traditional Hainanese chicken rice. He's Taiwanese, it's not from Taiwan. It's from Singapore, Malaysia, but he knew of a version from Taiwan and I pushed him to do it and he did it and it's delicious. And I was so proud of him. It was like one of those dishes where I'm like, man, I need to go eat at the restaurant just to have this dish. I was so thrilled for him.
Who cooks in your house?
My wife mainly, because I'm not around a lot.
What do you eat at home? What's dinner at home?
What's dinner at home? Something easy, not prep intensive, because I can't have 5 minutes, alone on a cutting board without my kids running around. We're just in that season of life, right?
What's ahead for the business? Is there going to be a 5th restaurant?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. We're actually building another Bar Bludorn in the Woodlands as we speak.
That's a suburb. That's a northern
suburb, yeah.
And maybe another concept down the line?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I'm addicted to creating. I just want to keep creating and keep going.
Want to catch up with your wife's family. Now they got what, more than 100?
No, that'll never happen, but that's a nice thought.
Well, chef, congratulations. You've built something terrific there.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And thank you for taking the time to talk with me today. It's been a pleasure.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much, David. I really enjoyed being here. Thank you for having me.
Aaron Bludorn on Culinary Characters on Lock. I'm David Page. I'll see you next time, and check out the Culinary Characters on Lock Substack.